Hi, then this is Matt Marks reporting. Let me fully explain the story all over again, because I left one piece of information out. In 1991, I would have been aged between 6 and 7 years of age. Okay. I was mistreated from childhood. I was kicked out of class from 1991 to 1995. In 1995, my mother actually lost the custody and guardianship of Amy and Jackie, and also me as well. I went to live with Elaine Myers and Patrick Myers. After that, then it went further ahead to this sort of event. After that, then it went from there to this sort of event as it is. That after I moved in with my uncle Patrick, we went directly to Queensland. We went there as this for a vacation. Okay. Jackie spun over the balcony. We lost our hotel accommodations. We came back to Perth as it is. A little while later, I got kicked out of the house at Mallaloo, and I got sent home for that spitting over the balcony as it is. Anyway, that's how it ended. And after that, then I got sent home. And after that event, then it went from there to the next one event. I moved in with my mother, Wendy Myers, and Wendy said, "You keep to yourself, I keep to myself, and we're all fine." And that's actually what happened. After that, then for a number of years she was silent. Then she came out of the woodwork and she started becoming more chattive and started to become more cooperative and became my friend. And then one day before she moved back to Sydney, she was saying, "One day I'm going to be a different woman." That's what she said to me. "And you're not going to recognise me." That's what she said to me as well. And then she also continued talking about this particular song called "One Day I'll Fly Away." I didn't know what she was going on about. Anyway, I thought it was actually about a song called, what's her name? Randy Crawford's "One Day I'll Fly Away." So I thought it was about that song. I had no idea. Anyway, it went further ahead than that. In March 1998, we moved to New South Wales, Sydney. We moved to a caravan park. I got a computer. That computer had a computer virus and it failed. Afterwards, then I moved directly into the house in Mount Druitt in May 1998. What happened was, after that event, I ended up going up the street to do a food shop, but I had a feeling not to go up the street, but when he said, "Do as you damn well told or else." So I went up the street to do a food shop. On that day, I paid for all my products, came back in that day and time. So it was actually a 1960 sports car. I was actually inside the car park, and he pulled up behind me, honked his horn. I got off the road, so he got the whole road himself go around. And he called his neighbour behind him to get out of the car and bash the shit out of him. So that's what happened to me. So I rode away as fast as I could, and that's what happened. He clubbed the back of the motor and took out my shoulder, and after that, then that was that. Sent to Mount Druitt Hospital. After that event, then after I was sent to Mount Druitt Hospital, 3 days after that event, then I was wanting Mars to say, "Mark, you do work around the house, or otherwise I can't help myself. I'll have to bash into you." And that's what she said. That was in May 1998. That was about that. After that, then it went further ahead than that. From May 1998 all the way down to January 2001, when he was bashing into me on a daily event. Refused to let me heal up. I was physically injured. She was bashing into me with a steel vacuum cleaner pole. She was throwing knives, you name it, she was throwing at me. She became physically violent. She bashed into me day and night. She refused to let me have any sleep at all. She became violent. She's walking up and down the hallway talking to herself. She was fighting with another not actually there. She's saying, which is diverse. She's saying, be quiet, saying, shut up, I'm trying to talk to someone. And she was physically out of her right mind. Anyway, I saw what she was doing. She was conversing with no one there. She was saying prayers like Satan on your devils, on your powers, principalities, and bone break your power. She said that prayer from the beginning of the day to the end of the night. She was worshipping Satan every day of the week. She kicked me out of the church. She physically locked me in the house. It was a key after key lock system. She had the keys. She locked me in the house. She took away the phone. She took away the paychecks. I had no pension. The house was too far away from the family to get family response. I had no phone numbers to call family because I had no knowledge of their numbers. I was trapped. I've been mistreated. I called the Manager Police for emergency assistance. Manager assistance said, "Are you suffering psychiatric schizophrenia?" And they were, they refused to actually grant me emergency assistance, and that's what happened. I tried to explain to the manager of cops that they were actually saying that I tried to explain what was going on, they wouldn't listen. This led down to General Castle 1, where when I was brought into my room, bashed me up in General Castle 1. And after that, then I moved the bed from the door, passed out, and then it went from there. I was sent directly to a Blacktown psychiatric asylum, saw the judge, explained to the judge it was a homosexual test. The psychiatric test was, and that's what I told him. After that, then I told him what the test was like. I was saying, my mother's actually dangerously violent, and I said, I want you to lock both of us up as it is. I said, Wendy Master's got a hidden agenda, I don't know what it is. She's become dangerously violent, so she's got a hidden agenda, I don't know what it is. Could you please lock both of us up to actually try and trap in both of us in the psychiatric asylum? Because she used to say, look, I say, if you can't find the one that's actually broken the law, I say, strike both on the hand, I say, strike both and call yourself right at the end of days, unless you know you've actually done a good job. I say, the first one that snaps is the one that's crazy. Justice says, we don't do things like that here. We don't do things like that. So that's what was actually said to that psychiatric judge. He says, I have to call Mark dangerous, and because I said that the psychiatrist was a homosexual gay excitement of the test, he says, I have to call him dangerous, so I have to leave the psychiatric room. I said, well, you're a homosexual fucking bastard. I said, I have to go, I have to go, nothing bad happens to this. And anyway, I walked out of the room. After that, then he went from there to the next one event. I sat down. Wendy Mars did a Dorothy script on the way out. She went home. What happened to Wendy Mars? This is what's actually happened. What happened to Wendy Mars? What happened to her? She went home. Where did she go in January 2001 to September 11, 2001? What was she doing? What the fuck was she doing? Anyway, I locked up. I was drugged unconscious for 9 months. By the time I got out of the psychiatric hospital, I had a criminal judgment written against me. I was sent home in 9/11/2001. Around that time, I was sent home. Just a little while later, I woke up. I found out that 9/11/2001 just happened. After that, I heard all over TV that whinged and whined and groaned over it for months at a time. And lucky enough, I had enough TV backups to actually watch that to get past that day and time. Anyway, that's that. After that, then it went from there to the next film event. Wendy Myers came out of the room and she says, hey Mark, you keep to yourself, I keep to myself, and we keep the peace. I would never have realised what's going on. But the thing is, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. Anyway, she acted as though that violence was going on. And she was walking up and down the hallway talking to herself, conversing and fighting with someone that was not there. She was screaming down the barrel of the phone. She was screaming at the telephone operator. She was going... She was screaming, yelling, carrying on, blaspheming. And she was doing that every day of the week. Anyway, it went further ahead than that. Then it went further ahead. I stayed home every day of the week. I was locked in the house with key entry, key exit lock systems. and the house was on stilts. I couldn't leave the house. And the key entry keys and lock systems were all locked up, and the windows had window staple locks. I was trapped in the house. And I was prison trapped. And I was prison locked in the house. And she says, you break any doors, break any windows, I'll send you to a psychic hospital. So that's what happened. And so I was locked up. To 2006, and then in 2006, Jackie came over to the house. One day, when he says, Mark, you don't keep the house clean, I'll say you've been hitting into your mother. 2006, she says, hey, Mark, vacuum the floor. She says that, and she says, I just use any excuse in the Bible to get you locked up. And she just got me locked up in 2006. I got sent to a psychiatric asylum in 2006. Then after that, 2006 as that is, I was sent to a psychiatric asylum. In 2006, I saw on TV in the psychiatric asylum at Blacktown Psychiatric Hospital, I saw on TV that they piped out and said on TV, on Channel 10, local news, on Channel 10 Sydney, they said about the Bali bombings, and they revealed it all on TV. And I just witnessed it on TV. What happened to Wendy? What happened? She was in the middle of that event. What happened? I have no idea. How the heck did she get away with that particular event? And then she did the same thing again. I was living back at home later that year. I lived all the way down to the end of the year. I had no phone numbers to contact family. I lived down to 2011, 2010. Somewhere between 2006, we got a computer. I forgot to mention that. In 2006, I got a computer from Tados. And the thing is, it was actually from child welfare from Tados. And the thing is, that computer actually got wired up to the internet. And that was the first time the house ever had a computer that was licensed to the internet. And that was the first time the computer was ever licensed to the internet in 2006. And that was that. Somewhere in 2006 to 2012, somewhere around that time, I actually found this particular computer program, Flight Simulator X and Flankers 2.0. And that's what I found. I found those games. I found them inside EB Games, and so I purchased them. And I played it on the computer in 2006 to 2012. And I didn't play it very often, but I did play it. And that was that. That's 2006 to 2012. No funny shit was done to the computer. And I know nothing was done different to the computer. The computer was wired up with what they call dial-up. It was dial-up internet. Dial-up is even worse than even what they call wired-up internet. It was the worst connection until about 2009, 2010, when Wendy Myers actually got cable internet, the optic fibre internet, and that was actually around 2009, 2010. She got optic fibre, and when she got optic fibre, it was a little bit faster, and that's all we actually had. And then we had that to 2012, and later on as it is, in that time, I ended up getting away from Wendy when she was going for an amnesia time. She left the door open, I got hold of my bank card, got hold of enough money to pack bag and go. Didn't take enough to physically cripple her. I only took about a couple of dollars to actually go up the street. About $20 as it is, that's all I took. And so I went up the street as it is. and caught an all-day ticket to Chatswood. Knew where my family lived. Got down there, saw my family. Got down there, and I actually lived with my family for a time. And after that, then he went from there to the next film event when he started becoming docile. And so she started ringing up as to this, and she became docile, ringing her up. And she became so docile that she became so physically zoned out. She was doing weird things. By the time I got back a few months later to have a look on her, because she was dying of cancer, I came back and found her. She was actually she behaved like a young little child. She behaved like a young little child, and she was behaving like a young little child. And I got back home as it is, and found she was behaving like a young infantile child, like a young spoiled brat. She locked herself out of the house just about. She left the front door open, and she didn't pay for her food. She lost her handbag, and that's actually what happened. I reported to Amy something was going on. Amy ended up going to the point of reference of actually getting her locked up and sent directly to Mount Druitt Hospital. After that, 3 days after that, she passed away of breast cancer, lung cancer, liver cancer, brain cancer. There was no injury reported in that day and time. No injury of any kind. She lived a happy life until the day of her death. And she was an overactive liar because she loved to make up stories. She was an overactive blasphemer of the tongue. Anyway, because she loved to blaspheme and tell lies, she's saying that she could get away with making up stories. And she's just saying that they listen to poor, pitiful women instead of men, as it is, according to what she said. She's just saying, all I have to do is just call out and say, help me, poor, pitiful women, poor, pitiful women. I say they protect poor, pitiful women that have been bashed up by men. She was lying on testimony to cause grievous bodily harm, even trying to inflict the situation on the officers to pick up a gun and shoot. Anyway, that was that. I got sent directly, I went from there as it is. I got sent directly to a psychiatric asylum again after Winnie Marsh's death. After that, then I got taken out of there. Then I went directly back to Malcolm's house. Lived with Malcolm for a little while. And Malcolm's just saying, you ever have any flies in the house, and you're out the door. And the thing is, I didn't know what I was doing, but one day he threw his food at the door and said, fire shit. One day I was actually complaining about my injuries, tripped over upstairs. He says, that's it, you're out the door. So he sent me to a psychiatric hospital. That was that. After that, then he went from there to the next front event. I went to the psychiatric asylum. I went from there to the next front event. Before I lived at that time in the psychiatric asylum, I lived it out. They put me on a medicine that made me grow very weak. Then later on after that, then I became very weak and very disabled as it is, such as I'm very, very, very frail. My muscles became frail and became very weak. And I couldn't drink water. And the thing is, I was becoming very sick because I couldn't drink water. I couldn't drink fluids. Couldn't drink milk, couldn't even drink water. I became sick. Not psychologically, mentally insane sick. I mean, I just couldn't consume water. Liquids were so physically sickening, it was making me vomit. I couldn't even consume water. I realised that I was still sound in mind. I was still seeing clearly, but I couldn't consume water. This happened at Westmead Psychiatric Hospital. Anyway, after that, then it went from there to the next violent event. It went from there. On the way out, they put me on LSD when I left there, as it is, and I went to Wendy Morris's funeral. Jackie got me away from there, as it is, and I was going fucking stark raving mad on a psychiatric trip because they put me on LSD. The psychiatric hospital put me on LSD, and I was tripping out. Jackie got me away from that psychiatric hospital, and then I went to a hotel flat and I was still tripping out. By the time I caught the plane, I was still tripping out. By the time I got back to Perth, I was okay. Anyway, by the time I got to Perth, I was okay. And then I got this phone call going back in June 2012. The phone call was actually very clear according to its nature. It talked about a situation about a multi-billion-dollar robbery scandal done to the KGB Psychiatric Hospital, was done when the KGB Psychiatric Hospital committed this multi-billion-dollar robbery to a Ku Klux Klan member. Anyway, it talked about it, and they mentioned that they'd been robbed, and they said that they wanted vengeance. So that's why no one tells them what actually happened. And that's saying they didn't want this particular event happening again, so they came out and mentioned what had to be said. Anyway, what happened was it got so far out of hand by the time they told me the whole story. They said saying, you're at home, you have no criminal record of any kind, so you should be okay. You get out of bed, enjoy your day. By the time you get back home, one day the cops stormed down to the house with the whole family under arrest, sent you to a psychiatric asylum. Put you on interrogation medicine to read off the church and have the authentic Bible. They confiscate your paychecks, worksite agreements, you name it, they steal it. Your pension, your bank cards, you name it, they steal it. They get your information about your passwords, PIN numbers, hidden items or whatever. They break into your house, steal everything, caught repo property. By the time you get back home, in the psychiatric hospital, they put you on LSD, and then they put you on magic pill for erasing memory. By the time you get back home, you suffer amnesia, and you flip it out because of LSD abuse. And by the time you get back home, there's a multi-billion-dollar robbery, and this led to 9/2001. The Ku Klux Klan member was sitting on the street. The brothers of the Ku Klux Klan actually were in the police department at the time. They said, what's going on with one of their brothers? Found out. They did a background investigation using the legal system because they were police officers. Found out what happened. By mission mind control. Found out what the state government just did to them. They saying they staged 9/2001 on the exact day to actually identify the criminal corporates that actually staged their multi-billion-dollar robbery of their multi-billion-dollar injury based over this bastardised event. So this is saying, let's make these bastards be showing up and call these bastards 9/11/2001 bastards for doing this nasty stunt. They blamed and persecuted the police department to persecute the state government. And that's what they actually said on this private phone call going back in June 2012. And the thing is, the whole story was fully told to me in June 2012. Then after that, then I found out very clearly that information. I passed it up to the police department of Triple O, thinking it could happen in Perth. I contacted Triple O, and she's just saying, I told her what happened. She's saying, don't contact Triple O for any reason, now hang up. I told her the whole story. She said, no. And then that's what she said, saying she'll tell me. Anyway, contacted Triple O, told them the whole story in full detail. Got sent to a psychiatric asylum at told them part of the story what happened, and got sent directly to Joondalup Psychiatric Asylum. They put me on a magic pill to erase my memory in needle form. I forgot that event for a time. By the time I got out, I didn't know what happened. By the time I actually lived up to June 2013, I ended up getting put on Complexil. I was put to sleep for the time of 2013 in June to 2017 in June. Then after that, I started writing movie scripts in 2017 in June, all the way down to 2022 in March this year. So that's actually about that, and that's actually what happened. Full story, end of story. That's the full quotation. Nothing missed, nothing even actually overlooked or anything beyond recited. Everything has been said. This is a full complete story, full complete statement, testimony. Nothing has been missed. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm not even circumcised. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Look at that. See that? I'm not even circumcised. See that? I'm not even circumcised. See? So that's clear enough. I never revealed that one, did I? So that's that. They used to say, my God, I didn't believe you. I thought you were a liar. I revealed my PIN number directly to what they call national security. I revealed my PIN number, my identification codes, my bank account. I revealed it all, and I revealed that information to national security. So that is that. So do I hide anything? Am I hiding anything? You must be hiding something. The head of my penis? Do you mind if I hide the head of my penis? My God, are you hiding anything? Oh my God, do you mind saying I can't fucking pick my nose, I can't fucking enjoy my life? Am I hiding anything? I watch Power Rangers, I watch Star Trek, I watch Zoid's Chaotic Century, I watch Digimon. I got a few episodes, I got a few stories on TV. I complained very clearly saying, look, I say Dragon Ball GT went beyond the legal rights of the worst violence I've ever seen in TV history. And the worst violence that went beyond TV history. So I reported that in 2006. And I thought that was bad. So, okay, did I hide anything? Nothing's been hidden. And please stop saying that I'm actually hiding something. I don't like being accused of saying anything's been hidden. Do I have a legal right to hide my PIN number on my bank codes? Do I have a legal right to hide my PIN numbers on my bank codes? Do I have a legal right to hide PIN number authorizations over the iPhone? PIN number authorizations and security codes to stop viruses being sent to my phone and to stop people from locking me out of my software. Do I have the legal right to protect my software from being locked out of? And so I can't control the flow of information active in my software. Is that actually forbidden? Am I actually breaking any laws? Because now I believe I'm being over-interrogated. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.